Welcome back, warriors. So we're back in the woods, and we're going on with our Firecraft for Beginners series. And we've already done a few different ways that you could basically get tinder going, like fire starting sources. We went over some ways to collect smalls or kindling, and how to get that tinder source to get the kindling going, and how do we build a fire. And now it's going to be on to how to maintain a fire. So we're going to take some branches. I'll show you how to process firewood to take from like some dead logs and branches that are kind of too big to light by themselves. But how do you take those, cut them down into smaller pieces, so that they'll kind of be your tinder, kindling, and fuel. Stick around. What's up, warriors? This is Kiyoshi Dave Herman with 5 Elements Tactical Training, here to share with you some warrior skills and drills that anyone can learn and everyone should know. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and thanks for stopping by. If you already follow us on social media, and that's how you found your way over to this channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification button and the little spot where it says all notifications, so YouTube will let you know when the next video drops, and you get all sorts of cool content from here as well. All right, so I was walking around and I just found some dead branches that were definitely too thick to get this started, you know, to get a fire going with this. But it was light enough that if I stepped on one end and I kind of pried up on the other, it snapped, and I was able to, you know, break it down to these pieces so far. From here to break it down further, an easiest way is to find 2 trees that are kind of close together in a V, wedge the branch in, and just lean back and let leverage help you snap it. Another way is to take a saw and just kind of cut through it. And you know, however long you want them to be, doesn't really matter. All right, so there you go. There's one. Make another one. If you're going to start like splitting it to make kindling and stuff, you could even go smaller, or maybe a hand's length or so. Be easier to split. All right. So there's another method where you put it against your leg. You kind of use your other leg like a vise. I trap it under this leg, lean it against this leg, and then I'm cutting outside, so I'm not cutting myself, especially when you have all your arteries and stuff. And you just kind of hold it. Pretty cool, right? I think plumbers use that. Plumber's vise? There's a name for it. I think it's a plumber's vise. All right, so that's step 1. And what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to use this as my baton to show you how we process it down even further. So I'll take my knife, get some firm ground, and I hold my knife firmly in my non-dominant hand, put it in the middle, and I just start whacking. And we split it. And do it again. And again, the harder the surface you have to do this on, like on a tree trunk, you should probably be doing it over there, the better it'll work. And then you just keep splitting it further and further and further, and it becomes, because ultimately kindling relies on surface area. So the more surface area it has, whoa, the quicker it'll burn, the hotter it'll burn, and the easier it will catch the other. It turns into a tent stake. All right. So you get the idea. So again, we went from a, you know, this would be good fuel, but for more surface area, I would split this in half. So once I take a smaller piece and I start splitting them in half, and half, and half, and half, now I take this. Let's see if I have a bandana. I always have a bandana in my pocket. All right, so now I'll take a bandana, and I'm basically going to make feathers to get a fire going, to act as a tinder source. It's nice, small. Again, the more surface area, the better. And again, this is a fun skill to practice. You gotta have a good edge on your knife, a good knife. And it's not, I mean, some people, I guess, kind of like move the knife along. I find it's easier if I just hold my knife stable with a good grip, and I kind of just pull it along, and you get this feather. So now some of this wood, when I picked it up off the ground, was kind of wet, right? But it was wet on the outside, not the inside. It's been laying there for a long time. This stuff looks dry as could be. It's gonna light up well. In fact, I noticed a birch tree, and birch bark is like a magical thing, which that'll catch quick which will catch this quick, and then it'll be a whole lot easier to get the fire going. So again, this came from that branch that I found laying on the ground. It's just a matter of how do you take that branch, process it down, and find the dry part within it, find the, process it down to really, really fine shavings with lots of surface area that even if they were a little bit wet, if you get, let's say, the birch bark going pretty quick, it'll dry it out almost instantly, and then it'll catch. Think of a matchstick. You want them like thinner than a matchstick. So again, feather sticks is a pretty cool way for you to practice both your knife handling skills, your whittling skills, your carving skills, your fire building skills. It's pretty therapeutic too. Man, when you get into like super fine, into these little curls, oh man, it's pretty fun. Some guys turn this into like an art. It looks like a bouquet. Bouquet. The trick is don't shave down the flat parts. Find whatever corners you have and kind of just shave along the corner, and that's how you get your finest feathers. Anyway, you get the idea. So we'll take these feathers, some birch bark, that'll be our kindling, our bag of smalls, and then I'll process down some more of this, and we'll build a small fire, and you kind of see how it goes, and then you just keep building and building and building, because the method is the same, the system is the same, the process is the same, all right? Another cool thing to process this even further, just like we do with the fatwood, I use the back of the knife to just kind of shave the corners. I use the back of the knife, the edge of the back of the knife, along the edges of the stick, and it makes this like sawdust, which again, that's going to be the stuff that catches the fastest and the easiest. But because this is not fatwood, it's not going to hold real long. It'll be good to help it get started, and hopefully that'll catch your feather stick, and then from the feather stick, you get your tinder bundle. From your tinder bundle, you'll get your small fuel, and bigger. Okay, so birch bark makes a great tinder. And all I'm doing is just picking off the paper. Handful or so. I guess the more the better. We'll hit it with the spark. See how well it catches. You can probably go from this right to your smalls. But we're gonna, I'll show you how well the other stuff works too. We'll try both. Sometimes you get it and it comes off like a sheet of paper. Big sheets, man. Back to that possum mentality. You come across a birch tree with flaking birch bark along your hike or whatever, grab as much as you can, even if you stuff it in your pockets. And man, you'll use that later on. Might not need it right now, but you'll need it. All right, so I have my smalls. I have my branch that I just started processing down to some feather sticks, some sawdust, some little pieces. You want to make it smaller pieces. You just start at the top. And this is how we process it down to smaller pieces that'll be able to catch better and burn longer. There's a damn knot in the way. You get the idea though. And the bigger the branch or log or fuel that you get going, the longer it will burn, and the bigger piece you could throw on top of that. Cool, right? All right, let's get to work. So what I'm going to do is I cleared this. I'm going to make a really small fire that I'm going to stomp out afterwards, just to show you basically how it works. So to show you how easily birch bark will catch, sometimes what helps too is kind of mash it up, process it a little bit more too. When you're making a bird's nest or a tinder bundle with dried bark and stuff, a lot of times you got to mash it up, process it to get like the very, very fine there you go. Remember, if you try your ferro rod 3 times and it doesn't work, change your grip, change your position, mess with your tinder source. And we get our feathers. Then we get our smalls. And really the smart way to do this, of course, is to kind of have your smalls ready to go. I felt like you wouldn't be able to see what I was doing if I did it like that. Knife safety. Don't lose my ferro rod. There we go. Doing this a little bit bass-ackwards. Usually you have your fire lay up first. Do all this stuff inside the fire lay, and then this happens. Here are those little pieces I was telling you about. It's the same thing as finding the smalls, right? We're going to save the bigger ones for when this gets going a bit. Pull this out of the middle before I catch my bandana on fire. I need that, man. Fire likes chaos. As soon as you see the flames start to come through the top, you add more material, more fuel. And then these bigger pieces, that becomes your fuel. And you take as big of a log as you want, you cut it down or snap it between 2 trees. It goes up, bigger, 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 lasts longer, longer, longer. So if you have, again, if I was going to keep this going all night and I wasn't going to stomp it out, I have put a ring of rocks around it, dig a hole, whatever. I just tried to kick all the leaves out of the way so nothing would catch and I could stomp it out. So again, when you're processing firewood, you just start with pieces that are manageable, that, it can't be thicker than the length of your knife because then you can't baton it. I try to keep it, about 1/2 to 3/4 the length of my knife. When I'm using my knife, I put the tight grip and I just keep my hand, I start it close to the handle, so there's plenty of room on the outside to baton, like so. A lot of times you can just twist it. It goes down far enough, twist it. Of course we got a knot in the way. There you go. Even a small fire in the middle of the day that I know it's going to go out in a few minutes, I'm going to stomp it out and go on to my next project. Man, I get lost in that. Like, it's good good meditation, good, I don't know. It's just good. It's good for you in here, good for in here. Feels good, even on a hot day, still feels good. So I'd really like to take a second to thank you guys. All the new subscribers, all my old subscribers who have been here since the very beginning, who, man, it's really taken off and it's happening a little faster than I thought it would. I think it's you guys. I don't know, YouTube hasn't pushed any of my stuff. My buddy Sean Kelly gave me an awesome shout out and I got a bunch of subscribers from that. And then I got a bunch of subscribers from those subscribers who were telling new people to come subscribe. Does that make sense? But, the comments and the positive, just really nice stuff. Like, I like how you guys talk to each other too. I'm a martial artist first and foremost, and everything I do in life and that I learned through martial arts is about respect first. Respect all, fear none. And, the kind words and sentiments, it's incredible. And, sometimes I don't remember what something's called, and you guys are Johnny on the spot to help me out with that. And then helping each other, it's just really, really awesome. So I can't thank you guys enough for shouting it from the rooftops, liking and subscribing and sharing. Oh my God. And just, I saw my name pop up for the first time on social media. Like, somebody was asking what channels people like to watch, and 5 Elements Tactical was one of them. And I was like, oh my God. So that was a really cool one too. So Keep it going and I'll keep it going. All right, guys? Thanks so much. I love you. So if you made it this far and you like what I'm teaching and preaching, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and like this video. If you're loving it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you gotta have it, make sure you hit the bell notification button and the little spot where it says all notifications so YouTube will let you know when the next video drops. If you're really digging it and you want more, you can find me on all social media platforms at 5 Elements Tactical. Well, that's all I got for now, warriors. So until our paths cross again, pray for the best, prepare for the rest. I'm Kiyoshi Dave Herman with 5 Elements Tactical Training. Thanks for watching.